So we are hoping, Your Excellency, you would share with us your thoughts about the bright future of Turkey, as well as strengthening and improving the economic relationships between Turkey and the United States. So, Your Excellency, Prime Minister.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me express my thanks and gratitude to DEIC, TAIC, and Goldman Sachs for this great opportunity to meet you after a very hectic day, having several bilateral meetings and multilateral summits in UN. Now it is time to have a brainstorming here with you, sharing our vision regarding Turkish economy as well as Turkish politics for coming months and years, and why Turkey is the right place to invest. I always refer to long-term cycles in historic transformation in order to understand the short-term challenges. Usually sometimes we live in a short-term crisis or transformation. We focus in a narrow-minded manner only in that crisis, and we may not see the opportunities beyond those crises. Important is for leaders and thinkers, try to see whole process of historical flow and try to understand if there is a tunnel of crisis, to see what is after the tunnel, where is the light, to see the exit. Yes, today we are facing a big challenge. Turkey is chairing G20, and in G20 agenda, last year in Brisbane, when we met with the leaders, there were several alarming signals of world economy: decline of growth, inflation and stagnation together, unemployment, the problems of emerging markets, which was the source of growth in last years, volatility in financial system, several question marks, but at the same time, we have to be well aware if there is a clear vision, strong political will, and a consistent approach to world affairs, all these crises could be overcome. We have to be realistic, but not pessimistic. Realism doesn't necessitate pessimism. But we have to be optimistic, but not blindly optimistic. We have to see the difficulties as well as the advantages, risks as well as potentials. When we look at 25 years in last quarter century after Cold War, there were several challenges, and I call these usually earthquakes in world economic political order. In 1991, a geopolitical shift after the collapse of Soviet Union, which has changed the paradigm of international order. And Turkey was right at the center of this transformation, from Central Europe up to China, Balkans, Caucasia, Black Sea, Central Asia being transformed. Many people thought that this geopolitical shift has ended, and there is stability after the enlargement of EU and security umbrella of NATO. But the Ukrainian crisis showed us that that geopolitical shift and aftershocks of that shift is still there. And if we are not careful enough, other aftershocks could be happening in other countries. So Ukrainian crisis was an alarming fact that enlargement of EU and NATO security umbrella does not mean end of potential risks in geopolitics. Second big shock or earthquake was 9/11 in this city, which was a security shift, paradigm shift in security. Today, this morning, President Obama invited world leaders, all of us, to discuss violent extremism and how to respond to this extremism. From 9/11 until now, we have Al-Qaeda, now we have Daesh, Al-Shabaab, Boko Haram, and other challenges. Not only terrorist organizations in certain critical countries, but there is a rising racism, xenophobia, Islamophobia, which is creating certain tensions in societies and which affects the stability of several countries. We have several fragile countries around us now because of these security challenges. Third shock was 2008, global economic crisis. Still, we are observing the impact of this economic crisis, which was the biggest after 1929, and we have to be well aware that 1929 world crisis was much more minimal than this one because of the size of world economy at that time, but created a Second World War.